You gonna live your dreams, man.
So, Ron, I wanted to start off the podcast by telling, I know you've heard this shit a million times and it's probably old as fuck, but I always have to tell the story of the first time I met you because it sums up.
Disclaimer, it's not true, okay? This
it's
man,
fucking true.
This man is lying. It's not justified in a court of law. So
it's true.
That's lies, okay?
Because I feel like it sums up everything about you perfectly. So, when I first moved to Singapore, I just started coaching at Trifecta, and this was when SFC first did their first show. Speaking of SFC, I just went last night. I was a judge there, and I've been a judge and a referee, and Ron and I both fought for them as well. Ron's the lightweight champion.
Peace.
Skeet, skeet.
Skeet.
Only person to win a Singapore national title and then say skeet, skeet right afterward.
Big James,
and
bitch.
we love you for that. So I just start being the coach, the MMA coach and the wrestling coach at Trifecta. And Ahmed, our buddy, sends me a message and asks, like, hey, we have this new guy. He's fighting for SFC. Would you mind cornering him? His name's Ron. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I mean, I don't mind cornering anybody. Like, that's cool. And he's like, okay, come into the gym on Sunday or some shit and meet him. And I'm like, okay, sounds great. So I come into the gym to meet you for the very first time. This is like 6 or 7 years ago.
It was 5, actually. I just checked. It was
2012? No, that was when I first moved here. 2014, maybe. 14, 15.
Yeah.
Something like that. When did you fight?
It was 5 years ago. Yeah, 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
Yeah, it was 5 years ago.
So I come into the gym to meet you, and I see you in the back corner. And Trifecta back in the day had those Olympic rings.
Yeah, Olympic rings, yeah.
Those Olympic rings, a big circle with a rope that's hanging from the ceiling.
Motherfucker, turn your phone
I
off.
know,
What's wrong with you?
It's Sean. He was just in here.
Turn your fucking phone off.
Sean sending me a message.
And this guy here got a podcast. Fucking A, man.
I know, man. I know. Okay.
What's this, a boot, man?
Flight mode.
Turn your phone off.
Okay, so we have these. It's going to be that kind of podcast.
We got the cameraman laughing. That's a good start.
So we had these Olympic rings in the gym, and I come in to meet you for the first time. And first time I lay eyes on you, you're hanging upside down with your feet through the Olympic ropes, hanging like a fucking bat from your feet, having somebody kick you in the stomach. Upside down, arms hanging down, like, as you're flexing and somebody's throwing body kicks at you. And I'm just looking and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I go over to you and, I think back in the day you'd done a bit more traditional martial arts before you started doing MMA. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? And you go, well, when I did some kung fu or karate or whatever it was that you did back in the day, you were like, oh, it's iron bone training. And I'm like, okay, you don't need to do any more iron bone training. You're about to have an MMA fight. You shouldn't be hanging upside down like a bat, letting people kick you in the liver. But that's Ron being Ron. So that was my first introduction to you, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
First, I'm going to clarify the story is only half truth. If you ask our other friend who was on the podcast, Steven will say somewhat similar but somewhat different. I wasn't hanging by my feet. I was hanging by my hands. And I was asking them to hit me or kick me in the stomach. That is true, but nobody want to do it. They say, motherfucker, you're crazy. Get off the ring. We're not going to hit you in the stomach. You die from that.
So I feel like you were hanging by your feet. Maybe I'm exaggerating the story in my head. Maybe I feel like you were upside down. Because, hanging like this is nothing. I feel like you were upside down.
I don't think I can put my feet through the Olympic rings. They're just too small, just old time.
So hilarious. Anyway. Moral of that story is after we did all of the training camp and everything, you ended up winning the SFC title. So I had Steven on, I had you on. One of these days I'll get Ahmed on. And so we got national champions from Singapore and from Malaysia.
Mima, man.
Mima and SFC.